All right, welcome to today's lecture, 7 Ways to Overcome Procrastination. Something that I hope isn't going on too much for you, but I kind of know with a lot of people it is. You'll hear people give all kinds of reasons why they haven't yet created a product, put together a membership site, started building a list, or even started an exercise program or losing weight. You know what? Everything they say is most likely valid. They're being truthful. They're not actually making excuses. But if you look one step deeper, what you will find, ladies and gentlemen, is procrastination. Almost everyone does it. Almost everyone does it for different reasons. There are different trigger points. People procrastinate in different ways. And today, what I wanted to do was hone in on the wonderful, incredible procrastination strategies and how you can sort them out if these things are happening with you. So it should be fun. Strap yourself in. The thing about procrastination, folks, is how sneaky our own little minds can be. Let me give you an example. One copywriter might procrastinate by doing endless research on a project. Now, he or she's not sitting around twiddling their thumbs. They're not playing Candy Crush. They're doing work for their project, and the project is on the mind of that person, but they haven't actually started writing. And they maybe should have started writing 2 days ago. That person is procrastinating. And in that case, the procrastination trigger probably has to do with self-confidence. They're finding the subject intimidating or maybe too technical. Maybe they don't know how they're going to spin a simple subject line into an entire ebook. Sound familiar? Or maybe the client for that particular project is really difficult to get along with. Maybe they're dreading the interaction with them. 3 different problems, apparently, but if you really take a close look, they all stem from one thing, and that's a lack of confidence. Now, is the way that that person might be coping with it bad, in inverted commas? No. They're not avoiding the project itself, they're just avoiding putting pen to paper. Now, research can help if you're not familiar with a subject, and also when you are familiar with it, but there's such a thing as too much research. People who want to write books often go through a similar procrastination routine, and I see it with coaches as well. They endlessly research, they write snippets, they scrap them together, they put them together, they write some more, they edit them, they put them off, they put it in a file. Nothing gets done. And then there are those that have got a phobia. They don't make a telephone call because they're scared of talking to someone on the phone. They don't make a video because they're self-conscious about how they look, and they've got this fear, this fear of something that might be going on with regard to their life or their business. And on top of the different reasons for procrastinating, you've also got to take into account that there's a whole range of different learning styles and preferences out there in the community with your clients or with you. A whole lot of different personality traits and conditions that people like to label themselves with or may have, some of them chronic, some of them not. Maybe things that have happened in the past, maybe a learning challenge. What I'm going to do is introduce you to 7 ways that I know of to beat procrastination. Try the one that resonates the best with you, or do them all. I reckon that you're going to be surprised by how well these will work if you've been one of those people that at times have decided to choose procrastination. Okay, so a really nice, easy, simple class, okay? And for the people that are on the call saying, stop talking about me, yes, I am talking about you. Sue, in particular you. All right. Step 1, find the cause. Find the cause. There's a famous saying. Now, usually it's attributed to World War II British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, but actually he stole it from a 19th century philosopher named George Santayana. Those who do not remember the past are doomed to repeat it. This certainly applies to people who procrastinate, who beat themselves up over doing things, over the continuation of procrastination. And then they procrastinate all over again. But it's not so much a case of remembering the past as it is of not understanding why we do these things. Get at the root cause, and then you've got a much better chance of coming up with a combat tactic that will work. So, what are the common reasons why people procrastinate? 1, you're a perfectionist. 2, you're facing a task that's going to be unpleasant or boring or difficult. You simply don't want to do it because it's not going to be fun. 3, you face a task that feels overwhelming, or you've just framed it as too difficult. 4, you secretly resent having to do it. You feel as if you need a reward for doing it. 5, you're a person who needs structure and you haven't created a routine for yourself that will provide the structure around the task. 6, you're afraid of failing. 7, you're afraid of succeeding. 8, you don't have a big enough picture, a driving goal, therefore you lack motivation. 9, you have too much to do, therefore you simply don't have energy for non-motivating tasks. Do any of these ring a bell for you? Did more than one of these perhaps ring a bell for you? If so, welcome to the human race, because just about everyone on this call at some stage would have experienced many of these reasons at least once, perhaps even more than once. So, no matter what your most common reason for procrastinating might be, taking a two-step approach is going to help you on the path to overcoming it. Step 1, understanding the cause. Step 2, reframing your habitual responses. For example, if you've realized that you commonly procrastinate because you fear success, for example, your perfect strategy will involve realizing that you don't have to leap overnight from where you are now to your ultimate goal. Instead, focus on A, cutting anything out of the success picture that you don't really want. B, taking things one step at a time. Concentrate on what you want to achieve that single moment, that single hour, that single day. Or let's flip it. Let's say you've got a fear of failure. Recognize that that particular cause often combines with perfectionism, folks. You too can become and will be able to benefit from focusing on what you want to achieve that minute, that hour, that day. Or maybe from reframing your expectations. With perfectionists, the idea of tackling anything involving a learning curve, or that someone else, let's say for example like a client, that can be paralyzing, okay? If they feel like they might get judged, it can be paralyzing. They have that syndrome of wanting to do a perfect job every time. And that, ladies and gentlemen, that perfectionism strategy freezes them up because they feel like they can't. Sound like you? Anyone you might have met? Anyone you might have coached? Now, by the way, I gave you, and I promised you, didn't I, 10 reasons for procrastinating. And I only gave you 9. It brings me to the number 1 all-time common reason for procrastinating. And here it is. Number one, reason for procrastination, because doing so has become a habit. A settled or regular tendency or practice, especially one that is hard to give up. Habits are formed through repetition, folks. The neural pathways of your brain are literally trained to repeat the habitual response to any situation. And the more you do it, the harder it is to change the response. Think of it like walking the same route to work every single day and then taking a shortcut through a tract of grass because it gets you where you want to go 10 minutes more quickly. If you take that shortcut through the grass every single day, pretty soon you've worn down a nice, smooth track. You're not going to beat your way through the bushes or get your ankles wet creating a new variation of that path the next morning, are you? You're going to follow the smooth path you've already created. That is literally what is happening with your brain when you create a habit. Repeat the habit of procrastination often enough, and guess what? It becomes the path of least resistance. Your brain has now become hardwired to procrastinate. So whenever it's faced with one of those trigger situations, that's what it does. It's human nature, by the way, so please understand it's okay. You're only doing what just about everyone has done at some stage in their lives. But what we need to help you do today is find a motivator that is going to be more powerful than the habit, more powerful than the strategy that you've been using or the tactic you've created, that's going to be best suited to cause or to work with any root cause or personality trait that you might have. One that will help you overcome the bad habit and create a brand new, more rewarding one. And that's really what we're going to do today. So let's have a look. Method one, the reminder strategy. Creating a new structure or an organization routine is not the perfect cure for everyone, but it might just be perfect for you. Now, the key lies in taking that twofold action we talked about, identifying the cause of procrastination, applying the right type of reminder system. Let me give you an example. Let's imagine that you take a brightly colored sticky note on the lid of your laptop, and you might unexpectedly suddenly have this wonderful, powerful habit breaker for you. How can I explain this better? Let's say that you regularly spend time on Facebook before you get to work or whilst you're at work. Maybe the note on your computer says no Facebook if you want to focus on just getting rid of that, okay? If you want to focus on going cold turkey from Facebook. Now, if that doesn't work for you, what about this? Set a reminder, maybe on your phone, that triggers every morning, that's going to beep at you to remind you to get off Facebook. Let's say that lack of confidence is the issue that you want to bring to the table. Then that big, bright reminder sticky note that you put might list a massive reward, or 2 rewards, or 3 rewards that you're going to get if you get down to business and make the phone calls you need to make, create the ebook you need to create, whatever it is. Let's say that you hate phone calls so much that you habitually forget to make them to your potential clients. Maybe what you need to do is simply remind yourself to make them. Now, I can tell you one thing that worked for me way back in the day, and I'm talking, this is when my mum died, so I was like 19. Now, I started a job at an insurance agency way back when. I was straight out of high school. It was hilarious, selling superannuation, would you believe it, as a 19-year-old kid. But one of the greatest things that happened to me during that, and I was there for maybe a year, give or take, my mentor, and I think it must have been a $2 note. Do you remember a $2 note, a $5 note, or something silly? He got a $2 note, I think it was. This is how long ago this was. And he sticky taped the $2 note, maybe it was a $5, I can't remember. He sticky taped it to the phone. By the way, this is the old days when there was a phone that would fit one of these on there. Sticky taped it to the phone. And that was my reminder that every time I made a phone call, that was how much money I would make, because it all averaged out. You end up making, 20,000 phone calls a year, then you end up making $50,000. You get the idea, whatever it is, yeah? So that was how it worked. That was what worked for me. And that was the reminder strategy for me. Cool, right? Here's the other thing. You can also take awesome satisfaction by removing the sticky note the moment you've completed whatever the task is, okay? So just the reminder strategy is a really good way to make this happen, something you can play with in your business. Method number 2, outsourcing. If you really hate to do a task, if it's really outside of your skills, if it's outside your experience, outside your interest, ladies and gentlemen, why force yourself to do it? Celebrities have personal assistants who take care of boring stuff, travel arrangements, arranging interviews. So why shouldn't you? Hire a VA who will perform the most dreaded tasks, one who's experienced in those particular tasks and excels at doing them. If you hate creating graphics, outsource graphics to someone on a website like Fiverr. If setting up and maintaining your website's driving you nuts, find someone to help you do it. Outsource it. Remembering, at the college, we build you the easiest possible website there is to play with. And I do encourage you to play with it, but it's not to say that you can't outsource that component. If you hate bookkeeping, outsource it. If you don't like to coach, outsource the coaching. If you're incredible at generating clients, but you don't like to coach, outsource it. If it's not your strength to be in front of groups and do presentations, outsource it. Okay? So if you're procrastinating about something that you don't like to do, outsource that thing. All right? Pretty easy, right? No one on the planet says that you have to totally master every single task that needs to be doing in your business. By the way, it's why Coca-Cola hires people to deliver cases of its products. You don't see the CEO driving around with crates full of Coke, lobbing up to Woolworths, right? So get rid of the tasks that drain your energy or that you're not suited to perform. Either scrap it or outsource it. Okay, method 3. Accountability is a big buzzword right now. Life would be utopian if we could fully embrace accountability, especially if it's in the form of knuckling down and just getting stuff done. Sometimes making that commitment leads to incredibly easy success, folks. Oh, have you got my sound? So you can choose to just do what needs to get done, whether you feel like it or not. If you've tried it and it hasn't worked, maybe try adding an accountability partner or an accountability group to the mix. And you guys have all got access to coaches in the college. You've all got access to coaches at the Life Coaching College Facebook group. This works well if you've committed yourself to achieve something super specific, okay, but for whatever reason it's not quite happening. Now, I reckon finding an accountability partner is super simple, okay? But what you might want to do is go one step further and become an accountability partner for someone else. What you might do is go one step further than that and become an accountability partner to yourself. Put reminders on your clock, put reminders on your fridge, put reminders on your desk. Buy inspiring quotes and put them around the place. Things that are going to nudge you and remind you that you need to do what needs to get done, okay? Now, if you're more accountable with a group, then create one. I'm telling you, as I stand here now, there is no better accountability for me than my personal trainer, because I know Damo is going to be waiting there at the gym for me on a Tuesday at 12 o'clock and on a Friday at 12 o'clock. And I need to be there, or whatever those days are, depending on the week, right? So to me, it's the accountability of the trainer as much as anything else that I love. Now, here's the thing. Once you've got the accountability partner, you need to make sure that you're checking in with them, and you need to make sure that that checking in becomes a habit. Don't overcomplicate it. People who procrastinate are wonderful overcomplicators and overthinkers. Set an alarm, set a pop-up. All this stuff's pretty easy now. Get a reminder app, whatever it is that you need, and then remind yourself to just do it, or remind yourself to contact them. Keep reminding yourself that you need to keep following consistent actions. Get into the habit, and instead of waiting around, you then have the ability to call and contact that person or yourself with regard to accountability. By the way, if you want to do it yourself, it's as easy as setting a reminder every day, every 2 days, every 3 days, whatever it is. You might have Monday as ebook writing day, and you just set a reminder every Monday. Remember to write your ebook. Tuesday could be the day that you do your marketing day or your website update or your blog, and you set your reminder and you set yourself up for success. And remember, the accountability can be accountability of self, and that works too. Method 4, the humble to-do list, folks. The humble to-do list. All right. One of the most common reasons that they don't work is because all of us, especially us perfectionists, tend to overcomplicate them. The result? They look like a punishment sheet. Here's a strategy that'll work for you. Create a simple, really simple to-do list. Only put one procrastination point on it. Leave the remaining 2 or 3 checkboxes blank. Call it something else if you need to. If the word to-do triggers some kind of frenzy of procrastination with you. Or don't call it anything. Just print out your one big priority, the thing that you know you're going to procrastinate about tomorrow. Save your to-do list as a master copy or print out a batch of them. Put a fresh copy on your desk or on top of your laptop or on top of your computer when you finish work for the day so that it's already there for you in the morning. The simple to-do list is underrated. It's usually not a success because people tend to fill it with too many things. People should all over each other instead of the need to do's. Focus on your top single priority, your one big procrastination point, the habit you want to change, and get it out of the way the moment that you see it in the morning. You getting the idea here? Now, if you never ever write posts for your blog, the blog you promised that you'd write so you can help your clients, overcome it by creating the one to-do list. Now, I can tell you that I use Google Chrome, and Google Chrome has a plugin, and it's a to-do list plugin, for want of a better term. And every morning when I turn my computer on, there's this spectacular image. And then in the middle of the image, it says, "Good morning, Glenn. What is the one thing you want to do today?" And I put that thing in. And down the right-hand side, there's also a, I guess you'd call it a to-do list. It's an updated one for the other stuff. What's the one thing you want to do today? And I put it there. And here's the wonderful thing. As soon as I open up a new web browser, guess what? It appears. It's so cool. So it's unavoidable to me. It's right there, and that's how I do my one to do. That's how I have it. So you got the idea. It's one thing. And here's the other thing as well. Do it first. One of our students, a lady by the name of Sandy Colombo, She wrote a book, and I'm now trying to remember what it was called, something about frogs and breakfast. Eat bigger frogs for breakfast, which is that saying that is all about do your toughest task first. Do that thing you don't want to do first, okay? Make sure that you get that done first. And that whole concept of eat your biggest frog for breakfast, that's what it means. It's get your biggest challenge done first. I love the idea of the one to do. All right, we've already done that. We don't need to worry about it. I did get a little thing here for you, though. There's a really great article by Jessica Stillman called 5 Scientifically Proven Ways to Beat Procrastination. Now, this article delves into the psychology of procrastination, and it will be great for you to utilize for your clients if you're already coaching, okay, or for you if you need to look at it. But one of the things that she talks about that I love is this Zeigarnik effect, where unfinished tasks, the tasks that we typically procrastinate on doing, tend to float around in your memory and nag you all day. And that causes negative feelings like guilt and shame. And she goes on to say, this is also why to-do list items continually pop up in your head until you write them down. So the to-do list calms the Zeigarnik effect. Cool? All right, method 5, look for the sticking point. We often procrastinate on tasks not because of the task itself, but because there's a step in the process of the task that tends to derail us. If you eliminate that step or find a more effective way to get past it, often the urge to procrastinate will go away. The task will become easy, or at best, it'll become enjoyable. So first, identify the big procrastination point. Let's say, for example, we've got a friend called Cindy, and Cindy makes a commitment to start every morning with a nice, healthy green smoothie because she's starting a brand new fitness regime. But here's the problem. Cindy's not a morning person. She wakes up and she's tired and she's groggy, and all she wants is coffee, lots of it, and strong coffee. Do you think she's ever going to resist the urge to reach for the coffee pot? Hell no. She's going to have that coffee, and then she discovers the thought of the smoothie on top of the coffee. Well, it's kind of stomach churning, right? So she doesn't have the smoothie. She stays in that groggy morning mode. She starts putting things off because it's easy to go through her inbox than to go down to the basement and use the treadmill, which is what she wants to do. Before you know it, nothing's changed and the day's done. She hasn't had the smoothie, she hasn't had the exercise she wanted to do before work, and more importantly than that, she doesn't feel any better. And that leads to her being annoyed, and her being annoyed leads to her procrastinating more. Do you get it? So what we want to do is find what that sticking point is. And remember, with her, what was the sticking point? It was the smoothie. It was because she was having coffee. So it was a matter of eliminating that thing or working a way around it. So what's your sticking point? What is it? What's that thing? Think about it now. Write it down if you need to. But what's the sticking point in the thing that you procrastinate about the most? And is there a way that you can use the strategies today to get rid of whatever that sticking point happens to be? Okay. Method 6, look for the reward. When you talk about rewards, most people tend to focus on the big, massive reward, the mansion that you're going to move into, the 100,000 people that are at the MCG watching you talk to them about personal development, your national TV gig, being able to retire at 50 and, play footy or whatever it is. But here's the thing. It's important to build intrinsic rewards all the way along. It's like starting that journey with a single step. You need the little rewards to motivate you towards the big rewards. Everyone needs to have a sense of purpose and joy in every single day. I'm so 100% convinced of that. Living with purpose and joy makes it easy to beat procrastination almost always, because you're in the zone and you don't want to stop, and working feels like fun. You're excited for you, you're excited for your clients, you're excited for the future when you start looking for the reward and the little rewards. So we're looking for the little ones. With me, and when I say training here, I'm talking about my personal training, my fitness training, right? So what is it? It's the feeling of accomplishment, that feeling that I'm an action taker, that I'm walking my talk. The excitement of actually setting myself on a path towards a goal, whether it's weight loss or fitness or a run time or whatever that is. The reward of feeling great in the morning, not feeling groggy like Cindy might have been feeling. And it's great when you get an unexpected positive side effect too. For example, if Beth happens to longingly hold my arm and be excited about where my bicep might be, for example, just to give you an example. Okay, so they're just looking for those little rewards. Now, there's a thing called cascade failure. A cascade failure occurs when one simple part of a sequence goes wrong early in the sequence, which leads to another part that malfunctions, then another, and we have a huge systemic crash. Funnily enough, a little bit like census last night. It's the same thing when you trip over a small procrastination point. That triggers more procrastination, and it ends up with that dreaded, I feel like I worked my ass off all day, but I accomplished nothing. So don't just identify small procrastination points early in your day. Build in rewards for tackling them as well. Now, Emma Lonzik is the creator and moderator of the private Fit Friends Get Fitter low carb group. By the way, I'm a low carb dude. Emma felt shamed into losing weight when a friend took a photo of her one day. She saw that she gained lots of weight, and then she realized this. At first, it was hard to get motivated, but I created a reminder and reward system of placing a pebble from the windowsill into the glass vase every time I lost a pound. American chick, right? My goal was to see all the pebbles gone off the windowsill, and it was rewarding every time one disappeared into the vase. So it's this beautiful way of being able to have reward, okay, reward during the day. Now, here's Emma, by the way, before and after. That simple reward system obviously worked pretty damn well for Emma. Small procrastination busting tactics like this also have a wonderful positive cascading effect. For example, outgoing Emma was so inspired by her results, she started the Fit Friends Getting Fitter Facebook group to encourage and support other people struggling with weight issues who were going low carb, which, by the way, was me. You can even make your own to-do list work and have a reward system, because sometimes just checking off boxes can give you a mini high. I don't know about you, but I love ticking things on my to-do list or crossing them out. It makes me feel awesome. Rewards should be built into every part of your procrastination busting habit changing strategy, both long-term rewards and little immediate ones. Because folks, it's human nature. We like to do what's pleasurable, and if something's all pain, we're just not gonna create the habit. Okay, number 7, create the right space. And I've got a little bit of stuff to go through for here because this is super important. Now, we haven't really talked about organization yet, but lack of organization leads to chaos, and chaos leads to confusion. And this isn't just for the right-brained people, this is for everyone. It doesn't mean you have to operate from 15 planners and buzzers and all that kind of stuff. Although if you like it, go for it. What it means is this: get rid of anything that's blocking you from achieving your goals. Now, you can look at this microcosmically, or You can look at it from an empiric scale. What does it mean? Empiric means taking actions like getting rid of toxic relationships. Those are the people who keep your self-esteem clobbered, your confidence low, or they just sap you of energy. And I've talked about this a lot. Microcosmic might look like cleaning your desk, getting rid of some clutter if it's all piling up. And my encouragement to you is the second that this class finishes, do it now. Do it. Declutter at least one area of your space, your workspace. Now, I reckon the work area is the easiest place, by the way, to start. So clean up your desk, get everything off it that doesn't belong there, get everything off it that doesn't inspire you, but do put one object there that does inspire you. Somewhere around your desk, above your desk. It might be an inspirational quote, a mantra, maybe some beautiful flowers, a photo of your dream house. I can tell you that in my office, I have a few things around the wall that inspire me. Behind me, I have some grand final pictures, some cricket grand final pictures. And in front of me, I have a photo, a beautiful photo from my wedding day of Beth and I, my favorite photo from our wedding day. Just little things that help me to remember the goals that are important, number one, for health and fitness, which is the grand final stuff, and number two, that really important goal of why am I doing all of this? It's to spend time with that incredible woman that I love and the kids that we have. Maybe put something fun on your desk. I like things I can play with, the Rubik's Cube, maybe a handheld Yahtzee, anything that you can use to just play with while you're taking a break, okay? Keep tiny, mini, one priority to-do lists on your desk. I've always got a to-do list on my desk. It's normally that one thing that is on my computer as well, okay? I'm a big sticky note fan. Anyone ever comes into my office, there's always a collection of sticky notes. I'm looking at them now. So have those there as well. Throw out or relocate anything and everything that doesn't inspire you, that serves no energy boosting or helpful function, is old, is redundant. And let me encourage you, if you're a member of the college, if you've got books that are personal development books that you're not reading anymore or you've read, or business books, NLP books, please bring them into the college, donate them to the college library, because the college library is a place where students can come, put a book, take a book, put a book, take a book. So instead of just chucking them out, bring them in here. Do something really great for fellow students. Once you've decluttered your work area, see whether that makes some changes. And then start to work on a couple of these things. But I'm going to tell you that these are procrastination strategies, so be mindful. Your hard drive, how much stuff is on there that you don't need? Your email inbox, how much is in there that you don't need? I have a question for you. How bad would it really be if every single email in your inbox was deleted? Just curious, if they were all gone. You know, there's a lot of companies now that are actually gone completely away from email. Cool, right? Gone away from email altogether. Make a phone call, old school stuff. What about the energy draining relationships that you've got? Or the commitments that you made that were out of guilt? That committee that you were roped into joining, for example. Find somewhere to start. Start to put a couple of these little things together, okay? And see whether or not you might well be able to get rid of procrastination. I want to go back to the inbox one for a second, because what I've experienced often is people who will spend the first hour, literally, of every single workday on email. And they spend that hour clearing and cleaning their inbox, not actually doing anything productive. So be really mindful of what your inbox is there for. I like the idea of turning your turning your email on maybe twice a day. You might turn it on at 11, you might turn it on at 3. You'll check what's there, you'll respond to what's come in that you need to respond to, then you turn it off, and then you continue on with your day. Those of you that have been around for a while will see we've done all kinds of classes on time blocking and lots of other strategies to make you more productive. But just be mindful that with regard to procrastination strategies, email and the inbox is right up there as one of the biggest. All right. So, putting it all together, what I now want you to do, ladies and gentlemen, I now want you to put all of this stuff together. I want you to go and action everything that you've now learnt. The strategies that we've now looked at. Work out which ones are going to be great for you. Work out which ones are going to help in your coaching business. And smash through the challenge of procrastinating forever and help your clients to smash through the challenges as well. Alrighty, if there are any questions, absolutely 100% feel free to write those right now. And if there are no questions, well, that's okay too.